the trend toward actual moving and transacting online. While many customers use the internet today to find their storage unit, and what we've seen in data is in 2008, less than 5% of new storage customers came in via the internet. 2010, that became sort of 10 to 20%. 2012, that became 20 to 40%. We're now seeing 50% and more customers throughout the country in all regions, rural, urban, suburban environments, coming into storage through the internet, meaning they used it at some point in their zero moment of truth to be able to identify and find that storage unit or contact them. However, that's the trend that is becoming more important. The question is a small percentage of users actually transact that move-in online. And the question is, when will a majority of customers originate their move-in transaction online? What factors will lead to that movement? I'm just going to ask that question for each of you guys as our final questions before we go to Q&A. So, Nick, when will the majority of customers move in online, and what do you think is the factor that will lead to that moment?
Well, I think it's going to be, as you look at the future, your future self-storage customer being a millennial and wanting that ability to transact online. When that's going to happen, I think we'd all like to know that answer, but we are seeing as websites are becoming more educational and consumers are able to find everything that they need to know, whether it's a size guide, they know exactly what fits in a 10 by 10, they can see the property on there, it's easy to get directions to the property, they feel comfortable actually transacting online. We'll see that increase, but until
So what do you think is 1 year, 5 years, 2 years?
I would say, if I were to give it a time frame, I would say the online move-in is a few years out from being.
So 2 to 5.
Yeah. I would
Okay.
say 2 to 5.
Chris, what do you think?
Well, so to Chuck's point earlier, in the urban markets, we're seeing it a lot more than we are in outside markets. So I think it's happening in the urban markets right now. I think it's happening. It's going to be a slow rollout. I think that there's a couple things that have to happen. One is just storage owners have to get on board with it. I think there's a slow rollout to storage owners that want that interaction piece still.
So you think it's still not available? Do you think that the owners who don't have online move-in transactions make it more difficult for the ones who do, because then the consumer is sort of torn, they can't make an apples-to-apples decision?
Not necessarily. It again depends on the market there, right? I think if you're in an urban market and you don't have it and your competitor does, I think that creates some problems for you. But by and large, I think that the technology's out there. Well, we've all got systems up here that can provide that technology. I think it's just how you operate and how you've operated for a long time and are making the move to a full online lease is a slow process. And I think that there's still some concern of who's moving in, what's going to happen. I kind of want to see the person before I let them in. We hear that a lot. We're okay with taking the transaction to X point, but we like to know who they are. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's going to
But just like you do in a hotel booking,
yeah.
I mean, they want to know who you are before they give you the key to the room and your actual room number. They actually clear it, but you've prepaid.
Exactly.
Right? You give them a card for incidentals, but you've already prepaid your room, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of where we are right now, it seems like, at least with customers I talk to. I think over the next 3 to 5 years, it'll start shifting to here you've rented, you got your gate code, you've got everything you need, everything's paperless, it's all been submitted, and you're good to go.
And have you seen a trend, and roughly how many storage company clients does G5 have?
I am looking at one of our analysts over there. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
100, 200?
Yeah, it's a few hundred.
Few hundred. So of a few hundred of them, have you seen a trend where more of them are asking for online rental or online payment capabilities today than
Absolutely.
they were? And how would you rate that trend? Like twice as many are asking for it today than they were a year ago? Or
So online payments, I don't know anyone who's not looking for online payments. Again, user experience, how do I make the process better for my customers? I don't know anyone who's not looking for that right now. On the rental side, it's like I said, it's a variation of what does rental mean? Is rental full transaction, or is rental kind of to a point of at least get their credit card, get their information, get them in the door, and then I'll give them the gate code kind of thing. I would say 80% of our customers are asking for some form of that, But within that 80%, there's a big margin of what that exactly looks like.
Okay. And then Chuck, what about moving online? When will we see a majority of online customers trying to doing the move-in transaction online? Is that 1 year, 2 years, 5 years?
Yeah, I think that probably the 3 to 5 years is the right number. But also, I think it's important to remember that there's always going to be a significant chunk of storage owners who just never do it.
Is that subset you talked about earlier?
Yeah, and I mean, you could look at sophisticated larger operators like Guardian and StoreQuest. I mean, you guys are going to be at the forefront of this. You're going to already doing it probably. If not, you'll be doing it soon. But you compare that to, for example, this one client I visited last week in Phoenix who doesn't even have internet at the property because the owner doesn't want internet at the property. Like, that person is not going to have an online move-in anytime ever, probably. So there's a lot of people like that.